tax law, as it applies within Indian country, is complex. This creates a lot of confusion, particularly in the non-native community, about when and where tribal members pay taxes. NWIN's Mystique Hurtado explains.
Do you know if American Indians pay taxes?
I don't think they did.
I don't think they do.
I believe they do some. Is that right?
You know, I really don't know. Seems like they get a lot of freebies, so I don't know.
The answer is yes. All Indians or tribal members are U.S. citizens. Therefore, all tribal members must pay federal income taxes.
The perception of the outside world is that tribal members don't pay any taxes at all. And that's not true. There's a lot of our working membership that pay a very significant amount of taxes.
The misperception is perpetuated in part because tribal governments do not pay taxes to the federal government. They are not required to pay taxes because they are recognized as governments themselves, just as one state or country would not pay taxes to another state or country. They operate as separate entities.
I think the general public believes that we are a special interest group that receives entitlements from the government, and they don't realize that we've given up a lot to be who we are and have a right to have our own business ventures and receive the revenue off of our own lands to support our tribal governments.
And there's a misperception that tribes are somehow marketing this what they're calling a tax advantage, a tax break, as a retail advantage, so they can undercut people that sell off the reservation. And I say most of the times tribes, in my experience, actually collect a tax, and a lot of the times it's congruent with what the state's charging in their tax, and they use them for the same types of programs and services.
These taxes are used to serve their citizens, such as building and maintaining housing and community buildings on the reservation. Sales tax is the major source of tax revenue for Washington State. So when tribal members earn money on the reservation, they often spend it off the reservation, and that sales tax goes to the state.
Generally, our members who live on reservations don't have access to malls right on our reservations. We travel off reservation and pay taxes for those services as well.
When we travel off the reservation, there's no magic card that we can show when we go to convenience stores, when we go to malls, when we go to fast food restaurants or regular restaurants, that we flash this card and say I'm Native American, and they just, they don't charge us tax. We do get charged tax.
So every tribal member pays federal income tax. But do Indian casinos pay tax? Do they contribute to the state economy?
I didn't think they did.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The answer is no. Casinos do not pay taxes. Instead, they pay fees. Congress passed the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act in 1988 to help enforce state gaming laws and regulations, while balancing the sovereign rights of tribal governments. Having this regulatory body in place means states can create compacts, agreements with each tribe. It's through these compacts that tribes contribute significant amounts of money to state and local governments. In fact, tribal-owned businesses have become some of the largest employers in the areas they operate. In Washington state alone, $5.9 million in community impact funds were distributed in 2006 to local governments, fire departments, and law enforcement. Tribal casinos also distributed $6.4 million in charitable funds to local communities.
Well, I think there's a perception that tribes are getting real rich, and I think there's concern that the games are being infiltrated by the mob or by crime. I think over time we're being able to produce a track record that shows we're regulating things fine, we're managing it fine, and we're taking that money and reinvesting it back in the local community, and so good things are being done with the revenues.
Studies suggest that building and running casinos produces no discernible social harm or rise in local crime rates. In fact, local economies are often bolstered as casino employees and vendors spend locally off the reservation.
Every time an employee from that organization at the casino spends money, that dollar turns over in that community probably 3, 4, 5, or 6 times before it leaves the area. So each dollar generates another dollar, or $2 or $3. There's a multiplying effect there.
I just continue to be shocked sometimes at the misperceptions that people have of Native folks. But I think, the more we get involved in civic life, the more we get out there and really educate people on who we are, that we're still here, that we have an incredible resource of culture and a governmental system, that people will begin to understand more the sort of assets and the resources we bring as Indian people and start to be more respectful of those things.
American Indians as a whole are working hard to get that message out, to change the misperceptions once and for all. For Northwest Indian News, I'm Mystique Hurtado.
And now,